There is play in business, which I love, but there's also war. So if I'm in a dark place, I'll actually turn the heat up on myself. If I loosen up a little bit, I can feel my connection to God, the universe, whatever you want to call it, start to wane. When I'm dialed in, it's just like downloads. I know exactly what to do. I'm confident. God is my coach.
How much is his fee?
That fee is everything, meaning ultimate willingness. I am willing to do whatever it takes to fulfill my purpose. Just speak to me and it will be done.
You're the problem. All the chaos in your life, all the things that you're unhappy with, all the circumstances in the world that scare you have one common denominator, and it's you. That's been one of the biggest lessons that I've learned from somebody that I've become close with over the last year, Kyle Carnohan. I originally met Kyle when he came through the Capitalism Incubator. He gave me money to help him with his business. And then a few years later, while I was going through a hard time, I gave Kyle money to help me with mindset and the chaos in my own life. And since I started taking responsibility for the things in my own life that I can control, things like the things I put into my body or what I think about or how I treat people, the minute I start taking responsibility for those things, the things I can control, that's when everything else in my life has started to shift. And that is the lesson that I want you to take away from this conversation with Kyle. We went to Kyle's house. We flew into his beautiful new place, 10,000 square foot, rent is $25,000 a month. He talks about this in the interview. And I brought my mastermind group, the Capitalist Pigs, to sit at his feet and hear him talk about mindset, business, and being driven towards something that is in alignment with what you want. So many of us pontificate about what we could do, what we should do, and yet we are so untuned to what we actually want. It's tuning into that voice that sets us free to go attack the things in front of us. This is a conversation that if you allow it, if you let it bother you for just a minute, that discomfort can drive you to a different level of performance. Heads up for any whiners on YouTube, it does get dark at the end of this interview. The sun is going down. It was romantic in person, but it's annoying on YouTube. Feel free to give me hate for it in the comments.
Cool. So why don't we start, Kyle? How do you afford this place? When I met you, you had to work overtime to join the Capitalism Incubator, and that was 4 years ago.
I think it was only 3 years ago.
3 years ago. And now this is a $10 million house on how many acres with this view? So what the hell happened? Well, how do you afford this place?
Well, there were some people that I got around that opened up my mind so that I would take advantage of opportunities. The first was this group. And then...
Sounds like a scam already.
Yeah, don't listen to these people. You'll end up in some fucking 10,000 square foot mansion in your dream life. But and then what I learned from that was like take a chance, pay the money, get part of groups. I hired Wes Watson. That guy blew my mind, opened up everything that I'd learned here in the business side, on the fitness side as well, and the mindset, and then it just culminated all together. And then
you were in the incubator, and later you found Wes, right?
Yeah, I think I was doing some fitness. I was doing I was doing fitness stuff with Wes, and then just hanging out with him. I was like,
did you grow up with him? Correct?
Yeah. And then I was just like, I couldn't help but know I needed to do something more. And then he got me thinking about like my finances, and I was in the firehouse. I think I'd been, at that point, so 12 years as a fireman, and I'm looking at my retirement, and I'm like, okay, cool. So let's say I move up to captain, maybe my base where I'm at currently will be like $120, $130. In the real world, that's pretty damn good for a job that you like. But if I work till 57, I'll be getting like 60% retirement. And I'm like, this is the shit I'm going to leave to my wife. Like, this is my legacy from my family.
What was your lifestyle like at that point?
All right. So my life was not bad. So like I would work 2 or 3 days out of 6, depending if I got forced or not. Sometimes 4, that sucked. Because sometimes you get forced, but if I worked 2 days, I would go to work for 2 days at the firehouse, and then I would come home and like ride skateboards and surf, and I was like the PE teacher to my kids, and that was great. But at the same time, like my wife wanted a fucking man who was going to like build a kingdom for her. And I didn't realize I was like a sixth child to her, you know, like I just wasn't stepping up like I needed to, you know, like I wanted to give her everything. And I didn't realize that I was capped at my own personal potential. And what this came down to was like, I wanted to give my wife better than that.
So you decided you wanted more financially first.
Yep.
And it's my perception that you learned the business stuff, or at least introduced to the business stuff through capitalism, through,
yeah,
through
dude.
my work.
Pre-workout for skateboarders.
That's right.
Yeah.
But you didn't have the discipline yet in order to make that real. Is that a fair assessment?
I would say I was still in a place where I just kind of wanted to play. And there is play in business, which I love, but there's also war. And there's also this place you have to go, which I've gone in places in my life. You know, I had to get through fire academies, and I had to go through shitty calls and circumstances where I had to step up and lead, and there was a lot of blood and guts and mayhem. But it was short-lived. It was like, it wasn't like business. Like business, like every day you have to go to war if you want this thing to grow. And there's so much pressure against you to lose and to quit and to have and just be in this hopeless place. And it's like this light, this little dream that you're like, if I just keep this up, like, is it actually going to happen? Like, and then that's why I just glom on to people like you and like Wes, because you guys are like showing transformations or stories, always sharing stories. And Wes would just put belief in me. He was like, you're it, man. And he lit me up, and I've seen him light a lot of dudes up and tell them the truth. So when he spoke to me saying, you have $100 million empire, all you got to do is move, I believed him, you know? And I'm realizing this whole game comes down to one thing: belief. That's it. If I believe that what I'm doing today will get me what I want in the future, then I will do what I need to today.
Yeah, and you'll do it.
But man, that belief wanes if you don't fill your cup. And so like, that's like things like this, like you come here and you fill your cup and you take it with you. The problem is if you fill your cup sporadically, that's when you have those times of just self-doubt and darkness where you're not making the moves and you're not vibrating at a high level where when you show up, you're actually like, people are attracted to you because of the way you're showing up. You're just kind of going through the motions, and it's really hard to make progress when you're not just
on fire. So this is a perception that I've had about you. And when I feel fulfilled, there's moments where I'm like, this is how Kyle feels, because maintaining discipline, there's a lot less resistance to when my cup is filled. So what do you actually mean by fill your cup?
So we were just talking about this earlier. Like, I'm trying to not only fill my cup and my people's cup, but also my team. And even I have moments like even today where like I got up early, like I get my ass up early. Like you guys know, I get up damn early and it's hard.
2:45, is that right?
Yeah. This morning was 3:15. So, but like that moment is slacker, bro.
3:15.
And there's just something about that, like battle in the morning that we were talking about. Like if you win that, you're going to be on a trajectory of winning. But I also find right around like 11 to 1, I kind of get punched in the face again. And it's like, I almost have to wake up again, you know, like, and usually I'll like bang out some burpees or, I was thinking of getting one of those cold plunges too. That you have one of those, right?
I think about cold plunges like I think about boats. I don't want a boat. I want friends with boats. So I don't have a cold plunge. I have friends with cold plunges.
There you go.
Yeah.
I just think
I actually do keep ice in my bathtub and refresh it regularly.
Yeah.
In order to have one. Yeah.
I mean, it's like that little 11 to 1 o'clock sleepies.
I actually have a friend who says that it is like the cold plunge is what he does exactly for this. But what I'm actually hearing you say, when you say fill your cup,
oh, I'm sorry.
I have ADD. You mean
But you know that.
Stay in like a high vibration
Yeah,
state.
that's it. And I'll get it around being around other people.
Okay.
Like that. And
is it being around genuine question, is it being around other people or is it pouring into other people?
both, getting poured into and pouring into others. Like if you can do that every day, if you get that every single day, like I can stay on fire. Like
I get that.
And that's why I'm so just addicted to coaching. Like freaking, like Garrett White just hit me up today. He's like, you, me, one-on-one. Like he gave me a massive discount for his like $500,000 coaching program. And I'm like, shit. I'm like, I told him if I'm listening to my nipples, the answer is yes right now, but I should probably like think about this. He's like, but I just want education. I want to get better at coaching. Like I want to be better at transforming lives. I'm obsessed with it. You know, and so when I'm around coaches that are pouring into me and then I get to go use that and then I watch other people's lives change, like if I can just stay in that circle, very rarely do I ever even bonk.
So I started this by asking, how do you pay for this place?
Mm-hmm.
We covered where you came from and that you stay in a high vibe place, but how the hell do you pay for this place?
Man, sometimes I ask myself the same damn question. Because you pay for it once, guess what? You're still here. You got to pay for it again. So Whitney and I were like, all right, we're going to do events. And so we did a couple events and we were renting some nice Airbnbs and we were looking at the cost of the Airbnbs. And I just had this epiphany that I was like, that's pretty pricey. Like, I think let's just look at that price range around where we live, you know? And it was like, that makes sense. It makes sense. And now we can just do an event a month and it's covered. So it's a business.
So the thing that stood out to me when you told me that you got this place and you told me what it cost, you had run the numbers. I was like,
$25,000 a month.
Okay. We went there right away. Okay. $25,000 a month. So logically you broke down, you said, well, first of all, I can use it as a business write-off. Second of all, I can use it to host events. And you kind of ran through the thought process of it, which logically, it made a ton of sense. But then I thought, well, that means that you've got to run hot enough to be confident that you're going to fill up an event a month to pay this off on top of running a $3 million coaching business and coaching people and advising people and doing all that. So I was like, I get the logical part, but it also means you got to be running hot consistently and maintaining a certain level of energy state where you're like, you're ready to be present with the next crop of people that comes through.
Yep. And now we're doing 20 events a month, really, because we're doing, or no, I'm sorry, not 20 a month.
Does
20,
that, so does
not
that
20, sorry. We're doing every 6 weeks for my high-end coaching group and then one a month. Women's, men's, and couples. So once a quarter for each.
Okay.
So 20 a year, I guess.
So does that, I mean, I can imagine if you're when I'm in total, my cup is full, that sounds exciting.
Yeah.
When I'm drained, that feels exhausting.
Yeah.
So how does it make you feel that like you've got to do events to really step up your lifestyle? I guess you only need to do one a month and you're doing several, but tell me a little bit how you think about that.
So I go in and out. So like, I get motivated by being on fire, but I also get motivated by being stressed the fuck out. So like, I'm going to act, I'm going to move either way. So if I'm in a dark place, I'll actually turn the heat up on myself. Like I won't get depressed and retreat. I'll never do that. Like, I'm going to make moves. They're not always the right moves. Like, damn, I've made some stupid moves. Stupid emotional moves. I still make stupid emotional moves, but I'm making moves. And then I'm trusting myself that whatever idea I have and whatever outcome I want to have for an event or a speaking engagement or whatever new coaching program I build, that it will just work out and I'll figure it out. And here's one thing I've found is like with that attitude, one, I'm seeing a lot of entrepreneurs have that attitude. Like, they're like, I don't know how I'm going to do this, but we're going and we will make it happen, because I literally feel driven by God that I must do this. And if that is the case, then it will come together eventually. No matter what roadblocks I hit, I will never stop.
Mm.
You know, when you believe that yourself, like when you believe yourself, when you're like, I will never slow down at all or stop. And you're like, yeah, I believe you. And it's like, okay, well, I guess we know where we're going then. Right? The answer is, and it helps. Like, I hit up Wes and I'm like, hey, dude, I'm a little terrified of this move, but, you know, he's been hitting me up to be like, hey, your kitchen looks the same, bro. Your people want to see you elevate. You know, so I have guys that are good to pressure me to push, you know? And I was like, what do you think about this, man? It's like pretty hefty rent. He's like, why on earth would you not do that? I was like, to him, it was just like, of course, you know?
Now, you weren't always, I'm just going to commit to it and hit it, and I'm called by God to do this.
No.
That's fairly recent in the context of your life.
Yeah. Yeah, no. I felt called by something, like pulled, painfully pulled. Like I couldn't, even when I signed up for the incubator, capitalism incubator, it was like I was pulled that way too. Like I could not do it. I just couldn't not. You know, luckily my wife is like, Whitney, I was just like, hey, I know we have like negative $200 in our bank account, but I need to pay 18 grand to this thing. She's like, whatever you think. She's like, since day one, she's like, whatever you think, I'll burn it down with you. Let's roll. I'm like, whew, all right, here we go. You know,
how has your relationship with Whitney changed since you committed to being a better man, to being a leader, to the discipline?
Ooh, you're tapping on some deep feelings.
Is that too much?
No, go there. We love this. This is where we want to live. This is the magic place. This is the fire. Like, this is when you tap into that special place of like what drives you. Because she drives me. This morning, she put her hands on my face and she looked in my eyes and just said, I love you. I'm proud of you. We got this. And I like, what else do you want from anything in life? Like, you and I have talked about this a lot.
Yeah.
Like, what else do we want as men? Like, that's it. You know, like, what more do I need?
I don't know that most women understand that.
They don't.
I don't even know that most men understand that.
No, and I think, I think when they get it,
like, why else do we work out and make money?
Dude, that's it.
To sacrifice it all to a woman.
That's it. And we forget as men. And then when we do get a bit of it, we don't realize the gold that we just got. And so we kind of spit on it, not realizing that's exactly what we want. And if we spit on it too much, then it's going to stop. So I'm realizing, like, I just have to like really culture that. Because that's what I want. Like, I just want to go to war with my queen and just crush life together. Like, just us. Like, you don't need anyone else. Like, that's it. And then the rest, like everyone else is just a great benefit to have. Like, having you guys come here. Like, do I need you to come here? No, I don't. Do I need any of you? No, you don't need me. But damn, you're a blessing in my life. You know what I mean? And that way you're safe. Because that way, like, man, you're putting yourself out there and you get hated on by some people. You're like, if they like your shit, you're like, that is really cool. Thank you. You very much appreciate them, but you don't need them. But, man, it's nice to need somebody and have someone who needs you. And that's what I have with my wife. You know, I can go to a different place with her.
When did... like we talked about how, like, we know, like, logically how you're paying for this house, and we know that at some point you switched into discipline mode, and that you were learning the business stuff in between there, but nothing really happened in your life until you made that switch, and that's when your marriage caught on fire. It's when business started catching on fire. It's when people started being drawn to you.
Yeah.
But something had to shift there. Like for me, like you know this about me.
Yeah.
Is like I had to go through a deep amount of pain.
Yeah.
And then have an event where I realized that, oh, I'm actually the asshole in this situation. Like that's like I didn't choose it. Like I didn't choose one day to be like, I'm now going to be disciplined. It was like, oh wow, I'm really in the gutter, and it turns out I'm an asshole.
Yeah, you
like as hard as I think, as well as I think I'm doing in this situation, I'm actually the asshole, and I need to get better.
Yeah.
And I reached out to you.
Yeah. But
you had to have a moment like that too.
Yeah. I think mine was like I was in the mortgage business for a long time, in the banking, and lost everything in 2008. Felt like a fucking loser. Like moved in with my parents, my wife's parents, and it was just like,
how old were you?
28.
Okay.
Like that was just like devastating, man. I was like, and learned through that process, like that my wife was still there, my kids were still there, and I think that's where I really started to connect with Whitney. It was like, she didn't leave me, and she was there and believed in me, you know. And then I'm sitting on an ambulance making $8 an hour doing the fire service thing, and I'm like seeking purpose. Like I'm like, okay, well, I didn't really want to do that shit anyway. It paid the bills, but I want to help people. Like I want to do some good in this world, and the fire service was cool, but at the same time, the culture kind of ate me alive, dude. I'm a pretty kind soul. Like I know I come off pretty aggressive sometimes, and like people are like, man, that guy'll eat me alive. And it's like, it's not really the case. Like I'm actually really kind, loving human. And like, I don't like compel my people. Like, dude, like you and me, like when have I ever fucking yelled at you? Like ever?
I don't know that I've ever told you this story, but you were so kind and you sat so close to the camera on all your Capitalism Incubator calls. We thought you were a short guy. Because you would always lean forward and you were really close to the camera and you were so kind and like jolly. And so I literally expect you to walk in and be about 5'5".
I love it.
And so we had the graduation meeting, and you walk in and like your head hits the top of the door and like you just soak up, and I'm like, that's Kyle. Is that Kyle, or is he walking on someone's shoulders?
You know, and it is funny because I am passionate about like what I do and the people I serve. And so, you know, I put out shocking messages to rock people so that they'll move. Yeah. Because people won't move unless they get punched in the face sometimes. And I just got to get them to commit to moving. Then they come into my world and they're like ready to get like eaten alive. And they're like, you're really loving and kind. I'm like, I know.
So what was the moment for you of getting punched in the face?
So I think I'd been seeking this purpose for so long, and I kind of got it in the fire service, but I never really felt like a really good fireman. Like I just didn't, my skills were good. I was a good medic, but I never really felt like I completely fit in there. You know, it's kind of like a eat your own group. It's like super alpha, you know, like, they thought I was weird when I cry in front of them and shit, you know. It was like, and I wanted to create a place that like was just wide open, where like people could be free to be completely them. Kind of like the firehouse table without that one asshole at the table. Because it's like every once in a while I get this crew together and they're just like, they bond and like everyone's open. You're having deep conversations and there's one dick that ruins it all, you know? And I'm like, what if I could create this like without the asshole, you know? Just freedom to just be you and feel completely safe. And then naturally I started having guys ask me about fitness and about my life. And I started getting these conversations where like I would lose myself and they would disappear for a while. I would just be in this conversation. And then what happened after that was actually making moves to change their life, which they came back and reported to me. And I'm like, holy shit, this is it. Like, this is everything I ever wanted in life. This is what I'm made for. And so I now saw this window to get out of what I realize now. The firehouse, dude, that was my own personal hell. Like I didn't realize it at the time. Now that I'm out, I was so stressed and just like I needed to get out of there. I was in a box, man, and I didn't even realize it. And so at some point, I start coaching people, and, like my buddy Seth hits me up from watching my music Instagram, and he's like, "Hey, are you a coach, man?" I was like, I've been thinking about starting. And he's like, "How much to work for you for a year?" I was like, "I don't know, $2,000. He's like, "I'm done, man. Like, do I give you my credit card?" I was like, "I don't really know. Can you send me cash in the mail?" I don't know. And I'm like hitting up like people being like, "How do I collect a credit card?" And I tell Whitney, I'm like, "Dude, this guy just paid me $2,000 to like coach him." Meanwhile, like that guy changed his body, changed his family, changed his life. We're 2 years in now from when he started. He just joined my Council of the Warrior Monk, which is $3,000 a month. Like, he just elevated his life massively. He just increased his income, started making some massive moves. But I've got to walk him from day one now to coming to my house every 6 weeks. And like, that's what I wanted. Like, I wanted to be part of these guys' lives and walk all the way through it. And I think the dark moments you're talking about, it was accumulation of just these like hyper critical moments in losing everything, and then being in the firehouse, like, and just like getting slammed with stress all the time, just panic. Like, even now I'll wake up from a nap and I'm like, I'll be like, my heart's beating, and I'm like, "Don't worry, we have a call. I'm like, okay, just get on the truck," and like I still have that. Like, I fucking have PTSD. It's crazy. I never would have said that, because like, guys who are in the fire service would just be like, "Oh, that guy's weak. He couldn't handle it." And I'm like, "Bro, trust me."
See some gnarly stuff.
It's just these stress middle of the night wake ups where you're just like, you can't even find your way out of your room because it's dark and you don't know what station you're in. And it's just like that. Gosh, man, you don't know what you're showing up to, man. It's just, but I had to go through that. Like, I had to experience that to now work with men who have super hyper anxiety. Like, I can understand them. Like, I'm like, I get it. Like, I still have that now.
And don't you find that the active discipline is the best medication,
dude,
from that? Like, we were talking about, like, I've struggled with depression and anxiety for most of my life.
Yep.
Right. Yep. And for the last few years, ever since I had COVID anyway, and I think I had a really bad long COVID bout, it's worst in the morning. Yeah. I wake for about a year and a half. I woke up in a panic attack every damn day.
Yep.
And now I just wake up angry and a little bit stressed.
Yeah.
So, but what I find is that when I'm disciplined and I can wake up early enough to beat the anxiety before it wakes up.
Yeah.
So my anxiety wakes up at about 6:30.
Yeah.
So if I'm up at 5:30, and I go get something productive like a workout or some work done,
Yep.
It's like I get out ahead of it.
Yep.
But the minute that I stop being disciplined, the minute it comes back like, "Hey, motherfucker, you suck."
Yep.
And so I find that the active discipline is like the best medication.
Yeah, and I think that's why, like, people are drawn to you here, Superhuman Fathers. Like, it's like they see authenticity, they see consistency, they see truth, and they're just like, "I want that." Like, they see freedom in that. And that's, guess what we eventually, like, what do we want? We want peace and freedom. And so, like, when guys come in, like, the first thing is like, discipline and endurance is number one. You're gonna have to grit your teeth, man. Like, this is gonna suck and it's gonna be hard. But on the other side of this is freedom and connection. Like, when I'm living discipline, and it is fickle, it's fickle, man. Like, if I loosen up a little bit, I can feel my connection to God, the universe, whatever you want to call it, start to wane. When I'm dialed in, I come out here in the mornings and I'm just like, "There you are. Speak to me." It's just like downloads. I know exactly what to do. I'm confident. Like, I don't need, like, God is my coach. But when I start slipping back into like self-doubt.
How much is his fee?
Dude, here's the thing. That fee is everything. Meaning ultimate willingness. that fee's heavy because it's your heart. It's literally like, I am willing to do whatever it takes to fulfill my purpose. Just speak to me and it will be done. So like the ultimate price, like
fair enough.
Right. And to fearlessly give your heart to that level is really difficult. And then to hold the line there is also very difficult. So like now I'm trying to like stay in that place. That's what I call the magic place. Like that's the place where you're on fire. You know?
We are obviously out of daylight. So I'm going to do Q&A about real quick if we have 2 or 3. But before we do that, I just kind of feel inspired to ask the question of what message you give specifically to entrepreneurs who feel like they're going through a really dark place right now.
Dude, it's so simple. The only one who's going to win is the guy who shows up relentlessly every day, regardless of how he feels, period. If you do that, you will rise to the top. So you don't have to doubt anything ever. The guy who shows up the most consistently will win the game. That's it. And yeah, you're going to have to contract and you're going to lose shit. You're going to make bad decisions. You're going to hurt people's feelings. You're going to make stupid decisions. And it doesn't matter if you just show up every day. That's it. Like, I'm telling you, you get up at the same time every day. You do some meditation or prayer, whatever you do. Then get your ass to the gym. And when you get home from the gym, build as many relationships as possible and sell as much shit as you possibly can until it's family time. Like, don't fuck around on your phone. Don't waste time. Just sell shit. And part of selling shit is just making friends. Like, go on your Instagram and just make a bunch of videos for people. Like, hey, thanks for following me. Nice to meet you. I love what you're doing. Like, just, if you're always like that all the time, you will build a following and they will buy things from you because they love you because you're connected to them. And nothing in this universe will stop you from being successful if you make a shit ton of friends and you show up relentlessly like that.
And you know, it's interesting. The 2 words that summarize what you just said were discipline and authenticity. And I feel like those are 2 things that in today's world are very scarce because for the most part, people are soft.
Yeah.
And it's soft because things have been pretty darn good for quite some time.
Yeah.
And people don't have to be authentic anymore unless it's for a strategic reason.
Yep.
So I feel like those 2 things are scarce. And so even the act of showing up every day and reaching out and befriending the 14 followers you have actually eventually leads to business.
Dude, I had 250 when I started, 250 followers. We hit $100,000 a month when I had like 3,000 followers. At what our price point was like $3,500 for the year at that point, I think.
That's good ROI, they say.
I was not running ads, by the way, at that time.
That was all organic.
Mm-hmm.
That is beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
My biggest aha in working closely with Kyle is that my natural state, I just attack everything that I want. I print money. I have great relationships. I'm fun to be around. I easily maintain good health, but it's all about the state that I'm in. I want to control the world. I want to control the universe, and I want things to be different. I want things to be easy. I want to be comfortable. But the truth is that everything is comfortable. Everything goes just how I want when I am in the state in which I am most alive, which means doing hard things, which means going after goals that excite me. It means being tapped into who I am and what I want to create. It's all an internal game, all of it. And my brain wants to figure it all out and make it all a perfect strategy. But the truth is, I can give the same strategy to 2 different people. One will build a multi-million-dollar business and another will call me a scam artist in the comments of this YouTube video. The difference is the receiver, it's the person, it's the habits, it's the energy of the person that gets the strategy. So I can give you the strategy. Go in the link of this video. Go to capitalism.com/playbook. You can have it. It's freaking free. But the only way that you will actually do it is if you are the person who is capable of success, which means you're the person who's doing hard things, who is in alignment with what they want, and is constantly striving to be better. And I hope this video inspired you to be exactly that.